Did you hit it?
Oh, okay. So here we are. We are in the middle of Act 4. Now we're on Scene 3. And Scene 3 is directly following Scene 2, where Lord Capulet is moved
Numerically speaking.
as it would. And Capulet has just moved up the date of the wedding. And that means that the plan is shifting a little bit. Remember, Juliet was supposed to wait till the night before her wedding, which was supposed to be Wednesday night, because she was going to get married on Thursday to Paris, according to the new plan. And now things are changing because there's a new plan where Capulet moved it up a day. And she immediately has to then go to her room, figure out what she's going to wear to her wedding, and also then figure out what she's going to do about moving up this whole plan the friar had about taking a potion and make her so dead.
Only 42 hours.
Yeah.
And to get a message to Romeo and back, like everything is shifted.
Everything is shifted by
hours.
a long bit. So now here is the scene where Juliet goes back to her room after that conversation with her dad. Or a little bit later. It's a little bit later in time because she's had time to like look into her things she's going to wear tomorrow. Okay.
That's me.
Okay.
And Juliet. Aye, those attires are best. But gentle nurse, I pray thee leave me to myself tonight, for I have need of many orisons, to move the heavens to smile upon my state, which, well, thou knowest, is cross and full of sin.
Enter Lady Capulet.
What? Are you busy, Ho? Need you my help?
Okay, again, because there's some teenagers in the audience. She walked in and said, "Are you busy, Ho?"
Hey, are you busy?
Yeah, I meant, hey, not Juliet, you are a whore. Are you busy? No.
That would be a weird thing for a mom to say to
and it is. And it's a weird thing for anybody to assume just because they hear the word ho. These are the weird times we live in, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Extra.
Sorry, continue.
No, madam, we have culled such necessaries as are behoveful for our state tomorrow. So please you let me know So please you let me now be left alone, and let the nurse this night sit up with you, for I am sure you have your hands full all in this so sudden business.
Good night. Get thee to bed and rest, for thou hast need. I leave.
Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint, cold fear.
Yeah, slow down a little bit. Think about how that just felt for Juliet. Her mom says, basically, can I help you with anything else? No, I'm good. Okay, she's out. And then she's like, bye, Mom. After she's out of the room, because Juliet's about to do something that ends her relationship with her parents.
And that's like best case scenario.
That's best case scenario. And she's about to tell you about all the other cases.
Yes.
Okay, farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint cold fear thrills through my veins that almost freezes up the heat of life. I'll call them back again to comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? My dismal scene I needs must act alone. Come, Vile. What if this come, Vile. What if this mixture do not work at all? Shall I be married then tomorrow morning? No, this shall forbid it. Lie thou there.
She takes a dagger and sets it on the table beside her. And so she's saying that, okay, what about this?
If I wake up in the morning.
If it doesn't work, what am I going to do? And she's like, well, here's the backup plan. Go back to the original backup plan. I can take care of this myself if I need to.
What if it be a poison, which the friar suddenly hath administered to have me dead, lest in this marriage he should be dishonored, because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he hath still been tried a holy man.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. What if it's a poison? What if the friar's like, oh dang, I'm going to get caught. I also don't want to marry you to a second guy. I guess I have to kill you. I mean, if he was a bad guy, that'd be an easy way to solve that little mess, wouldn't it? But she's like, he's not a bad guy. No. And she's like, I know he's a holy man. I know he wouldn't do that. So I don't think that's what the case is. Okay, so she goes on to the next nightmare scenario.
How if When I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me. There's a fearful point. Oh, if I wake, shall I not be distraught, environed with all these hideous fears?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And madly play with my forefathers' joints?
Okay, that's a weird thing.
Really weird.
So she's gonna wake up in the tomb and then start playing with the
Like having puppet
skeletons?
shows with her.
Yeah, like 'cause she's crazy.
Dead
She's saying
ancestors?
she's thinking she'll
gonna
be
go
crazy.
crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, keep going.
And pluck the mangled Tybalt from his shroud? And in this rage with some great kinsman's bone, as with a club, dash out my desperate brains? It's a wild...
Yeah, she's having some crazy
Yeah.
fantasies about waking up in a tomb.
She has a really creative and vivid
yeah,
mind.
yeah. But I mean, it would be very scary to wake up alone in a dark tomb, wouldn't it?
It would. Oh, I'd be
Okay.
terrified.
All right. And now she's having a right now hallucination.
Oh, look, you see, methinks I see my cousin's ghost seeking out Romeo, that did spit his body on a rapier's point. Stay, Tybalt, stay. Romeo, I come. This do I drink to thee.
And she drinks it and very quickly falls into that deep death-like sleep. So at the last minute there, that's a little bit tricky that she starts to see that, Tybalt's ghost, and that's what inspires her at the last minute, be like, I'm out. Yeah. She gets herself super spooked, really thinking about the tomb. But she has the courage to follow through with a really risky plan.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the last minute, she could have been just like, you know what, I'll pretend I never married Romeo, and she never gave in. She never gave in to that temptation to just change it up.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have
there
some
it is.
things. In that first set of her lines, the orisons.
Yeah, prayers.
Oh.
Now, I wonder if it's related to the Spanish word oraciones, sentences, though. I mean, phrases. Like, I don't.
Many things to say.
Yeah.
To move the
But
heavens to smile.
It's prayers. Yeah.
Got it. And then again, so cold, you may have already heard this word, but no, madam, we have cold such necessaries. So you
Pulled out.
Selection.
Usually when we use the word cull, we're meaning like
culling
we
the herd.
get out the things we don't want. Instead, she's culled the things that she did want. So cull
That's
doesn't
an
mean
interesting play.
discard. It means pull out from the mass the thing that you were looking
and then
for.
behoveful.
Yeah.
Put it in context.
So such necessaries as are behoveful for our state tomorrow.
So it behooves them. They are required to, or they're obligated to have. Yeah, you've heard of that too. It behooves me to let you know that I'm not going to be there, or something like that. I'm behoven.
And of course, you have to have an accent when you say behoove.
I think so.
That's true. I also had just down here, like, for he hath still been tried a holy man. And that's just her, I think, saying that she can judge his actions as you would if somebody was on trial. Judging his actions,
like,
she thinks
through
he's
the trial of knowing him. He's been tried. I've tried him, meaning I've seen his actions over time, and he seems
passes the test.
Environment.
Yes, that's a good one.
Well, an environment is a place where things are.
So
right?
environed with all these hideous things.
Yeah, so
surrounded.
She's going to be surrounded. Yeah, her surroundings.
So I'm good for words on that one so far.
Okay. All right, so the people in it, there's only Juliet and Lady Capulet to talk about, and Juliet, of course, is the main part. So let's kick out that whole Lady Capulet thing. What's her point in this? What is she doing?
She's just making sure she's like ready for this. Do you need anything?
Yeah,
and it's kind of, again, that flip-flop sweet moment.
Right, because just in the scene where they were together the last time, not the one where the wedding date gets changed, but the last time that she really had words for Juliet, it was you may as well be dead, and it was like, don't talk to me, I'm not going to talk to you about this. And now she's like, is there anything else you need, sweetie?
Yeah, and then get some rest.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have to believe also that like there's part of her that like that feels that there's something wrong with the lack of nurturing relationship and maybe even desires it or something.
And just because Shakespeare throws in the parts where she's trying to delay the wedding unsuccessfully, she has zero impact on Capulet's plans, but she does try to stop it. And she also like believes that Juliet has reason to be sad, whether it's the right reason or not. And also at the very beginning, if we remember, go all the way back to Act 1, Scene 1, when there's a fight, she's holding Capulet back. She's not for the fighting. She's not for the violence. Lady Capulet's not a bad person. She's just a disconnected person.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve the punishment like her husband does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
and then
if there's punishment to be had according to the.
In this one again, Juliet is continuing the facade of
Still
being
freaking out on the
ready to
inside.
get married, and then as soon as her mom is gone, right? Like actually shares her giant
And that
fears.
takes incredible strength. She's incredibly strong and self-possessed, meaning she doesn't let show when she's having a bad time.
Yeah, and she's terrified right now.
She's a good actress.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just
And
very
so
unaware.
freaking courageous, because then she does, in fact,
After stating all these fears,
Drinks
she
it.
does drink it.
Yeah, and she's 14, not even. She's
Not even
almost
14.
14, and she pulls all of this off. And she's not an unrealistic 14-year-old. I know a lot of 14 and 15-year-old girls, and she's not unrealistic. They're smart. They're brave. They're strong. They make decisions. They hide things from their parents that they don't think their parents would want to know. And so it's not an unrealistic thing for a girl her age with that level of intelligence and passion to make these hard choices. They're not the right ones. I just want to point that out too. She's really doing this wrong. At every point in this story, you need to ask yourself, could she have talked to her parents? Now, I know her dad threatened to beat her, or her dad threatened to toss her out in the street and take all his money away from her and never speak to her again. But he doesn't know what's going on. She never told him. And I don't know that things would be better, but at least he'd have a fighting chance to make things right or do things right if he knew what was really going on and causing her to act like this way. And mom doesn't know anything either. So nobody that has power to make a change has been given the information to make the change. And I think that's somewhat unfair. If she had gone to her parents with the truth
early,
it may not have been good, but it wouldn't be it's not good now. She's faking her death to go off with her outlaw husband.
And it's so interesting because even the friar, who acts as sort of at times the voice of reason. So if they had come to their parents saying, hey, Prince just got really mad at you guys, and we really, 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 really like each other. What if we got married and sort of healed some of that?
Yeah. What if they had the friar go with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And say
it could be his idea.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or maybe
why didn't the friar go and talk to the prince?
Why didn't somebody write a letter to the prince? Anything like get the prince involved.
No.
Yeah.
Just a little like on a sticky note.
It was too late for that. She's dead. I mean, she's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a really good thing to think about along the way. Like, what could she have done differently? What could they have done?
She should have. And also because kids fall in love or think they do, and in this case, let's assume they did. And kids make decisions based on things that are very difficult for them, and they don't like to tell their parents everything. It's really important at this point in time to talk about how Juliet maybe could have been a little more careful.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, things don't get better. All right. Well, on that note.
All right, we're coming up with what? Scene 4?
Scene 4 is
Scene
next.
4 coming up.